Good evening and welcome to SAFC Fan TV and another edition of Thursday Night Live. With myself tonight, we have Michael Bowers. Have you had a good day, Michael?
It's been all right. Yeah, I will quickly point out before I forget it because my memory's terrible. One of my Twitter followers, Dave Watson. Thanks for the kind messages. And George Divers, I believe your best friend's name is. There's your shout out. And also the adopted Mac because it's his birthday on Saturday, I think. So I'm just getting them out of the way before I forget later on. But yes, I'm okay. How are you?
Fantastic. I'm not so bad. I've been grafting, as you know, as I always do all the time. Way down south in North London. We have Jacob Kirkbride. Have you had a good day, Jacob?
Yeah, pretty calm day. Weather's been nice, but yes, pretty decent day to be honest at work. Back in time for the show, so yeah, pretty chill. Just about calmed down from Tuesday.
You're back in time for once.
Yeah, normally it's not been the case the past few weeks, but I'm on tonight, so happy days.
Right, and also we have the Mad Mistake, who's over the moon that the beer gardens are open again. Have you had a good day, Terry?
Been grafting at work, like I usually do during the week, so it's been better than Tuesday, as for obvious reasons.
Well, I don't know what happened Tuesday, but I'm sure we'll get onto that. Right, just very quickly, we are live, which means you can join us via the live chat if you want to comment on anything, or if you've got any subjects you'd like to bring up, we'll do our best to try and include you in that. Shout outs already to Dan Humphrey, David Walker, Jack Gilmore, Lauren Kenny, friend of the show, King Maguire 1, and our very own Jack Dodds, who's just having a lie down, says, evening lads, another different location from Bowers. Yes, he's here, he's there, he's everywhere, Michael Bowers. So it was, well, it's all doom and gloom if you're a Sunderland fan at the moment. Tuesday night, full of hope, Wigan down the bottom of the table. We go down there, it finishes Wigan 1, Wigan 2, Sunderland 1. I was wishful thinking.
Wigan 1,
Michael,
great start.
Fried already. Michael, what did you think to 2-1 to Wigan?
Well, the best part, obviously I was working. The only bits of the game I have seen are the goals. One of the better bits, I must admit, and Jacob's going to hate me for mentioning this, his reaction when we went 2-1 down was priceless, but I don't blame him for absolutely storming off because it was an absolute joke. The result itself is embarrassing. Charlton, you can kind of, not going to say forgive it, but you can sort of forget that bit because they're a decent side, they're going for the playoffs, they've got some decent players about them. And apparently Wigan, I got a couple of Pompey fans who messaged us that I speak to on social media. They were saying that apparently Wigan gave them a good run for their money. They obviously smashed Donny last week, but for me, at the end of the day, if you're going for the top two, that's a game you've got to be winning. You took the lead as well. And when I saw the 2 goals were conceded, it couldn't have been softer if you even tried to. So absolutely embarrassing result, completely embarrassing. And it's a one that's deflated me quite a bit. When I heard that we got beat. For Peterborough and Hull, it couldn't have gone any better, really. Top 2 mathematically isn't impossible, but for me, it's probably going to be the playoffs. I'm waiting for Phil to go, oh, here we go, the Doominators, everyone's going to be down, man. But, you know, that result just is embarrassing. But knowing Sunderland, it wouldn't shock me if we won the next 2 games, because that's exactly what we do. We lost, I remember 2 months ago, we lost to Shrewsbury, and then we ended up smashing Donny. So, you know, we'll wait and see. Hopefully, a big response needed, though, if we're going to have any chance of the top 2.
Oh, it's all doom and gloom. Here we go. There you go. So happy with that. Just very quickly, we've got to give a shout out to Adam Scorer. Adam does our Instagram for us, and we did play football midweek, and Adam had a great game. Scored some goals, not as good as Dino's own goal, though we must mention.
What's this Dean own goal? I need to hear about this.
We'll tell you about it. Jono 84, Wigan is your team, we Philly. Well,
It is.
I was born in Wigan. I saw a couple of rugby games when I was down there.
Why
But
are you always lying?
I've lived in Sunderland for 47 years. It doesn't hurt me when Wigan lose. It hurts me when Sunderland lose.
Lies.
I tell you what, it always Jacob's missed an opportunity here
Nice.
because he could really go at Phil for the hometown stuff.
Okay,
We're
right,
all the Arsenal jokes.
No, fair enough. All right. So let's go down. Let's go down to the Arsenal fan then. Down in North London. Jacob.
Bowers is loving it, man. I'll bring this back.
I've got something to cheer me up.
Wigan 2, Sunderland 1. Jacob, you took your toys out the pram, had a bit of a paddy on the live stream there. Your thoughts now that you've calmed down?
I'm just about calmed down. Listen, obviously my reaction to both was a little bit over the top, I must admit. I do apologise storming off for the second one, but I think just it was pure. Cheers, Michael. But I think the main anger and frustration that reflected by me walking off was the manner we conceded the 2 goals, and also there was a few comments on Tuesday night on the live stream about that managerial tactics were wrong, we set up wrong, but the manner, the way we conceded those 2 goals, I'm sorry, it's not down to management. It was just schoolboy defending that led to both, and there were like 2 set pieces have undone us once again. Like, I don't get how we've gone from this strong defensive unit that we had leading up to that Wembley final, and it's gone completely out the window the last few games. I seriously can't understand it. But yes, Lee Johnson at the moment, I think the pressure is going to be on, but I think what I've been pleased with him since he's come in, he's managed to deal with pressure quite well. But in terms of tactics he's made recently, I can understand why people are frustrated with him throwing subs on all at once. I think that even though, because we did complain when Phil Parkinson was manager that he didn't make substitutions at all, I think doing them all at once with half an hour, I think that just creates unsettlement in the team, to be honest. I think he needs to space them out as the half goes on. I think during the second half of the game. But yeah, I think something needs to change. I think, to be honest, for the next game at Blackpool, I think we need to go back to basics a little bit, to be honest, to try and grind out a result, because Blackpool, they're in form, and yeah, we're a team bang out of confidence right now. And to be honest, that like bringing Grant Ledbetter back, someone with an experienced head, I think would be a great shout in the middle of the park, just what we need. Performance, I think we need, like on Tuesday night, we were lacking experienced heads on the pitch, and Chris Maguire's been frozen out recently. There's talk of potentially him coming back into the squad at the weekend, and we lacked leadership. There was a lot of leadership on that pitch on Tuesday, which really infuriated me.
Is that it? Back to you, Phil, in the studio.
I could go on even more, but I don't want to.
No, don't go on. Back to you, Phil, in the studio. Oh, thank you very much, Jacob. Good man. Right. It was frustrating. I've got to say, I'll have my my little say on it in a bit. I want to quickly go back to the chat. Rough as a Badgers said, Michael was jogging past my street this morning in Bolden. Is that right, Michael?
I was attempting to, yes.
Good lad. The Black Cat podcast, which is Carl, is saying thank you for his birthday. Which is his birthday this Saturday, or was it last Saturday?
I believe so. Carl, correct us in the chat, mate. But I think he said this Saturday.
Right. Okay. Well, whatever. Happy birthday to you, Carl. The Black Cat podcast, great YouTube channel. Check that out. And whilst we're on about other YouTube channels, there are others out there. Giles, he's a top YouTuber. And don't forget, by the way, Fans React to trying to get themselves to 1,000 subscribers. So let's see if we can help them get there as quickly as possible. So check them out and make sure you subscribe to them as well. Keisha Cameron Jude is on the chat as well. Let's go to Seri, who wasn't a happy bunny on Tuesday after that result. He was more than angry. Have you calmed down?
You thought I was bad.
Yeah, I've totally calmed down now. My head's in the shed, like I said in my last video. I built it up like we had 7 games to go, 7 wins, and we get promoted. I built it up as a magnificent 7. I thought Wigan were there for the taking on Tuesday night. I wasn't happy with the team sheet. I hate the 4-2-2-2 system. People say it's not down to systems, it's down to individual performances. I hate 2 in midfield because our midfield is weak as water. It is weak as this cup of water with only 2 in midfield. And time again this season, our midfield has been overrun and nobody seems to learn. Nobody seems to want to improve the midfield. But in the first half, I thought we kind of dominated Wigan. I thought we looked as if like we could just score. It was just a matter of time before we scored. We're getting corner after corner after corner. The balls weren't fantastic going into the penalty box, but I did think it was a matter of time before we went 1-0 up. And I basically, when we scored that goal, which finally we got down the sort of the line to the penalty area and crossed the ball over and White actually scored the goal, I was really thinking, bang, 3 points in the bag. That's it, 3 points in the bag. We're going to score 2 or 3 more goals now because Wigan had nothing to offer. And then like a switch was turned on, or our switch was turned off, because after that, we kind of fell asleep. We didn't do any of the basics. We didn't do much at all. Wigan woke up. Wigan completely outran us, and they wanted that result more than we wanted it on Tuesday night, which is the biggest disappointment. Do our players want to get promoted this season? I'm not saying all of them, but do some of them players actually want to stay in League One so they can stay at this club and get paid the money they're getting paid? Because for me, I didn't see any passion, any drive, any want to win in the second half on Tuesday night. The second half was absolute garbage. The worst I've seen this season. And to be fair, we haven't played well since we've been Portsmouth. No. We've been riding our luck at times. We've been grinding out results at times. And these last 2 games against Charlton and Wigan, as much as I don't want to say it, it was coming. It's been coming for game after game after game. And I'm absolutely gutted. I was dejected. I was sick. How Scowen even gets in the side is beyond me. And now today, and I said before, League One is the league that just keeps on giving to Sunderland. Our last recognised centre-back, is out for the season now. So we have a half-fit Bailey Wright coming back. Puwaluko Nine, who I wanted to push in the midfield and drop Scowen to the bench, now has to stay back at centre-back. So we have to endure Mr. Scowen for the rest of the season. But it might be okay. It might be okay if we have Power or Ledbetter behind them running the show and let Mr. Scowen and Winchester be box-to-box midfielders. That's the only way we're going to redeem ourselves this season, because it just keeps getting worse and worse with injuries anyway.
Right, Fred. I know, Jacob, you're trying to get in there. Before we do, I want to say a massive thank you to Hugo. Hugo watches us from Portugal, and he says, this is the best part of my day. Cheers, lads. And he has donated €5 via the Super Chat. Round of applause for Hugo. We'll quickly explain that for you. The Super Chat is there purely if you want to support the channel. It will go to help us make better content. It's purely optional. You can still chat for free, but if you want to use the Super Chat, you just click the little $ underneath Super Chat there, and you can donate whatever amount you want. There's a little slider there to decide what you want to do. But as we've said, it is optional for doing that. Also, I want to say, Carl has said this Saturday is his 35th birthday. And as we speak, another round of applause, please, for the Taffy Mackham, friend of the show, £5 via a super sticker. Jacob, you want in then on what Terry was saying?
Yeah, building on what Terry was saying there, the worrying thing is, you talk about, was it a lack of passion on that pitch on Tuesday, and the feeling of potentially are some of these players really wanting that motivation to get promotion this season? You have to remember, a lot of these players are out of contract at the end of the season anyway. So is that real motivation and drive there to get over the finishing line? Honestly, questions need to be asked now, and I think just things need to change going in, because personally I think top 2, I'm sorry, 3 or 4 is fine. But 1, 2, 3 is, I think, I think it's gone now. I mean, I know Michael analysed Peterborough and Hull's games and potentially see whether there could be a slip up in there. But I think, from Peterborough and Hull, from the games I've watched from them recently, they're just too strong. They get the job done. They've got a lot of attacking threat. And yeah, I think that they're in decent positions now to just go and get the job done. And I think we have to find a good system in the last 6 games we've got to get us ready for the playoffs. I want to be optimistic, I do, but I just don't see us finishing top 2. I really don't. I'm sorry.
Terry, you want back in?
Yeah, I'll ask Stato. Have we been in the top 2 at all this season?
As far as I'm aware, no. I think the only time this is quite embarrassing. The only time I think we've been in the top 2 is like a couple of occasions in our first season down here. Other than that, we've always been either just below the playoffs or in the playoffs, which, by the way, for what our expectations are, is embarrassing. Sorry, Terry, go on.
No, just that we haven't been in the top 2 all season. I don't even know why I was getting excited thinking that we could make the top 2. What puts the idea into my head that we're going to actually be in the top 2 if we haven't been in the top 2 all season? I just get too carried away.
Right. Just very quickly on the chat, I'll bring you in a sec, Michael. People agreeing with Terry down here. David Walker saying exactly, Terry. King Maguire, one. Well said, mad mistake. John Charles says Cloughie always had a good spine. Jack Gilmore says spot on, Terry. Before I come to you, Michael, I want to say a massive thank you to Anthony Baxter, who's donated $4.99. Thanks, Big Tony. Thank you for that. Round of applause as well. Michael Bowers, you was one in there.
Couple of points. First of all, we know about the contract situation. Now, I think it might have been Terry who mentioned this a couple of months ago, and I said it on my own video that I'm starting to believe this possible theory that some of these players, how can I phrase this properly? Not necessarily not trying, but they don't necessarily have the extra 10% of desire to go up because they think, oh, do you know what? If I help get someone promoted, I'm going to be playing at Accrington Stanley or potentially Wimbledon next season. Whereas if we stay in League One, I'm going to be at Sunderland, easily the biggest club of the division, and get more of a nice little wage packet and so on. And if that's the case, then they're putting their own self-interest ahead of the good of the club, which is embarrassing. As for the top 2 thing, well, to be honest, I think fans had right to try and expect to get to the top 2 when we'd got within 2 points of second at one stage. What Sunderland should have done was kick on from there to get into the top 2 instead of what they've ended up doing, which is, well, yeah, so far, but look, it looks a bit bottling it. And I know we've got ourselves into a great run to get ourselves into the position, but the fact of the matter is we shouldn't have needed the great run to get close to the top 2 in the first place. We should have been in and around there all season. And like I said, the Charlton game, like I said, I thought people were a bit too reactionary after that one, but I don't blame anyone after Tuesday night. Don't blame anyone in the slightest after Tuesday night. Like I said, Tuesday, we took the lead in the game. We took the lead. Keep the clean sheet, manage the game properly, you win. You're 2 points off second. You know, I'd love to know where the hell our clean sheets have gone all of a sudden.
Right, okay. Right. Well, what I want to say, well, first of all, Taffy Mackham on the chat says, what concerns me is we're all talking about playoffs as a given. It's far from a given. Right. So, again, I'm taking that as Taffy Mackham doubting that we may even make the playoffs. Now, for me, there's too much negativity around this, right? We've lost to Wigan. It's typical Sunderland. It's the Sunderland way. On paper, we should be going down there. They're at the bottom of the table, and we should be beating Wigan dead easy. And typical Sunderland will go down there. But in typical Sunderland fashion as well, you know, we'll go to Blackpool on Saturday and we'll go to Hull on Tuesday. And, you know, nobody gives us a chance. But typical Sunderland will go there and could easily win against them. So it changes everything. Now, Terry just said when he was talking about the game there, he said, you know, we went to Wigan and it was 7 wins, right? These 7 games, we win these games, we get promoted, right? So we've lost to Wigan. So it's 1 game. So what's the difference of going between 7 wins and we get promoted to now we've got 6 games left and we haven't got a chance? there's Peterborough and Hull are not going to win the rest of their games this season. Simple as that. Michael.
Yes, I do definitely get that. And I do think that we need to stop saying Peterborough and Hull are going to win every single game, because they're not. I think my concern is that, and it's a psychological thing more than anything, mathematically, it's definitely not done. 5 points can be overturned. And again, I know obviously you take it a game at a time, but I couldn't help but look at the fixtures. I'll just remind people, Hull have still got, okay, let's take Hull as an example for starters. Yes, okay, I know people are going to say games in hand don't mean anything, and I'm getting quite sick of hearing that. Yeah, we know they don't mean anything, but just bear with me here. If we were to match Hull until Tuesday, say we beat Hull, and say for once we actually do win a game in hand, that gap would be 2 points to Hull. Now, obviously, that doesn't work that way because the game in hand comes about a week after we play Hull, I think. But bearing in mind, Hull have got Fleetwood on Saturday. On paper, they'd be disappointed not to win that game. They've obviously got us. They've got Wigan. Well, I'll tell you what, Wigan, if you do that to us, do that to Hull as well, please, then. And then they've also got to go away to Charlton and away to Lincoln, both of whom are in the top 6 and both of whom are starting to find a bit of form again. Peterborough, likewise, have got to go to Charlton. They've got to play Lincoln. Again, same point. Both have got to find form again. And they've got to play Gillingham, who are still mathematically in a playoff picture. My big concern, though, is that Peterborough have got Northampton tomorrow night. And while on paper, games don't plan out on paper, if Peterborough win that game, we're 8 points behind them going into Saturday's match. And I don't know, if we were to win the next 2 games, which I think Sunderland squad should be capable of doing, then why not? But then why not? But I don't know. I'll just quickly wish you one thing on Blackpool I'll mention one more thing on Blackpool. Blackpool aren't invincible because if you look at the last round, I know people are going to go before anyone goes, they're on an unbeaten run. Yes, but if you look at the last 2 games in isolation, they were 2-0 up at Lincoln and drew 2-2, and they needed a penalty save on Tuesday night to get a point. So it wouldn't shock me. It wouldn't shock me, honestly, if we won on Saturday. It would just be the sort of Sunderland thing to do.
Well, the thing is, right, Peterborough play Northampton tomorrow night, right? And this is a carbon copy of us playing Wigan because, when you play these teams down at the bottom at this time of the season, they're fighting for their lives. And that's the same with Wigan. Wigan wanted it more than we did, and they got the 3 points. Who's to say Northampton? I mean, didn't Northampton beat, was it Portsmouth or somebody, 4-1 recently? It's like they're
they beat
fighting
Oxford
for the
as
life.
well, to be fair to them as well, yeah.
So, I mean, you can look at Peterborough and say, there's 3 points in the bag. That, that's the gap to 8 points between, us and them. But it's by no means a given. This top 2 is for me, is still well and truly on easily. It just astounds me how the negativity of it all with everybody. Right, I'll tell you what then. What's changed then? We had this great unbeaten run, and I know we've not been playing well. But what's changed? Why have we now lost the last 2 games? Is it just the fact that we've had a makeshift defence and eventually we've sort of we've given in? I don't know. Terry?
Look, I think there's been a change in the system, a change in the way people are playing on the pitch. If you go back to the Doncaster, we beat Doncaster 4-1. We had 3 in midfield of Lugo, 9, Max Power, Josh Scowen. Max Power was more like a holding midfielder. The other 2 had the free run of the park. We had McGeady on the left, who was putting the balls across for Charlie Wyke. Charlie Wyke scores 4 goals. Now McGeady has this free roll, which seems to be roaming all over the place. And the crosses are not coming into the one-touch Charlie Wyke in the penalty box. I don't understand why we've changed it to only 2 in midfield. Now we're being overrun. Why you changed it? Why change something that's going really well? I don't get what's happened. I don't understand Lee Johnson's what he's doing at this moment in time with the formation and with the squad. I don't get it. Charlie Wyke's now he's being starved of any kind of assists from crosses. They're all deep balls. Nothing's coming from the byline, from the corner flag, whipped across like McGeady was doing. I've seen McGeady on the left and McGeady in the middle, and McGeady on the right. I want to see him doing his sole roll, which is coming down the left-hand side, and getting some ammunition across to Charlie Wyke. I can't see Jordan Jones on the right-hand side doing the same thing. All this interchanging it, and people just doing what they want. And the midfield too of just Josh Scowen and Winchester are just Ledbetter and Scowen isn't strong enough. They're not strong enough, full stop. You need 3 in the midfield, or we're going to get battered and overrun every single time.
Right, fair enough. A couple of people, John Forbes and Glyn Jones, said there's a lot of twists and turns yet in this season, and I totally agree with it. Like we said, you know, I mean, people are saying that, oh, that's it's over because Hull and Peterborough are gonna run away with it now, but it's far from over. Jacob, what do you think? What do you think's changed then since our winning run?
Well, I think you have to, when we talk about changes from a managerial perspective, you have to remember when we sacked Phil Parkinson, we were crying out for someone who would have the tenacity to do that and not be afraid to change things. And now we're sort of wanting like a solid lineup that we can go, right, that's our main starting 11. But at this stage of the season, the fact that we still haven't got that it's a worrying sign. I mean, watching the game on Tuesday, I couldn't work out where Aidan McGeady was meant to be really playing. To be honest, I mean, looking at the formation before, I heard he was starting in the number 10, but the goal that Charlie Wyke scored, he crossed it from the right-hand side. There were times he drifted out to the left. Where do you fit McGeady if you do go for either a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-2-2-2? Like, for me, McGeady, I think, old school 4-4-2 on the left-hand side because he's most effective when he's taking on a fullback. I think that's where we need to use him best in the last 6 games of the season. But yeah, the changes right now, I think it's now starting to, like I said at the start of the show, I think unsettlement's taking place in the squad a little bit, that there is a lot of chopping and changing. I mean, Carl Winchester being left out totally on Tuesday, I thought was really harsh, in my opinion. I think he was one of those players that have been starting to like click into place from the players that we brought in January. And I think he was one of those players that was linking up well with the rest of our midfield, no matter who you play alongside him. But yeah, it's worrying times at the moment. I think Lee Johnson needs to get it right in terms of not just tactically, but who he picks as well. And someone who we were highlighting, Chris Maguire, I think on the stream and also leading up to the start of the stream on Tuesday, Lee Johnson, I think personally there's more stuff going on behind the scenes there than we realise, because I think it's clear to see Chris Maguire that he has got it in his locker to be a massive game changer if you bring him up, but to not have him in the squad at all, I think is really harsh. I think as an option on the bench, at least for these final 6 games, I think we're crying out for it now, to be honest. But for him to be in the reserves the day before, not be in the squad for the Wigan game, it's baffling.
Well, I'm going to come on to Chris Maguire in a bit. Quickly to the live chat. Joe the Artist says, any players leaving need to go out with a bang. A player helping a team to promotion puts them in a stronger position for decent teams if moving on, which is a very good point there. Tom Wallace, friend of the show, says it's been the season of the hoodoo. Wembley, Barton, Charlton revenge at Wembley. He's saying if worst comes to the worst, personally he thinks Sunderland will get automatic promotion. Peterborough will bottle it next, he says. Just very quickly before we come to you, Michael, 157 people on the stream watching, 41 likes. We do like to try and hit 100 likes if we can. So just hit the thumbs up. It'll take you a second to do so. If you're on a mobile device, just close, and you got this chat open, close the chat down, you'll see the thumbs up. Just hit that for us if you would. And don't forget, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. It's free to do so. And that will help us out immensely also. What's changed then, Michael? We had this winning run, and then all of a sudden, the last 2 games, the wheels have fell off. What's happened?
Well, I'm not a big subscriber of the reason that we're falling off is because we only have one fit centre-back and playing at the centre of defence when Luke O'Nine's been at the centre of defence for the good last 2 months, and it wasn't a problem a couple of weeks ago. Don't get me wrong, I prefer Luke O'Nien to be third either at right back or in centre midfield. The problem is, well, Terry alluded to it before, and I said it in the group chat earlier, there's rumours Dion Sanderson's out for the season, so if that's the case, we can't use him. Tom Flanagan, I'm pretty sure he hasn't played since Wembley, so it's very unlikely he's going to feature. Conor McLaughlin is someone who I would much prefer at centre half than at right back. I don't know. Did he come off in the warm-up? Was he off injured?
Yeah,
I'm sure that he was meant to start on Tuesday and he had to go off injured.
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds about right. Well, either way, so it's going to have to be Wright and 09. And whether we like it or not, these players are going to they've got to step up. They're going to have to. We can't go on saying, "Oh, we've got no centre backs." Right, that's it. There's definitely no chance. Like, well, no. Like, Wright has proved for me since he's been here that he's a competent defender at this level, and Luke O'Nien has done more good than bad at centre half recently for me. I know that he's not a natural defender, and I know Terry in particular hates players playing out of position. But the fact of the matter is that at the minute we haven't got anyone else in there who can play. Go on, Terry.
That means that we have to play Max Power right back. So that means we have to have two in midfield, or do we play Ledbetter in midfield along with Scowen and Winchester?
But Max Power right back's been pretty good though, hasn't
he? I agree.
Yeah, but it just makes the midfield makes bit weaker in midfield. If Ledbetter has to start, then Ledbetter has to start in midfield of three.
No, I agree with you.
Power goes to right back.
I think in these next couple of games, I think we need someone like Ledbetter in there. I know Jacob was saying earlier in the season that it says a lot that we're relying on a 35-year-old or 36 however old he is, Grant Ledbetter. But the fact of the matter is that's the situation we're in.
At this
Whether
stage
like it
of
or
the
not, that's the
season,
situation we're in.
It's
Yeah, exactly. And I think for games like these, we need to have an equal emphasis on stopping Blackpool and Hull playing as the same as going forward. The game's not going to be won in 10 minutes. The game's not going to be won by swashbuckling your way into a 3-0 lead against these sides. It's just not going to happen. So we need to, and I think that one of the things that we haven't done recently, that I think if you go back to Portsmouth, one of the most impressive, people said that was our best display of the season. I personally disagreed, but I did say that was one of our, if you mean it in a controlling game aspect, then yes, I didn't think we were great going forward in that game, but I did think what we did was control the centre of the park. We controlled the game. We need to start doing that a lot more. And this is something Johnson's going to have to look at. I mean, he himself, he felt let down by the performance on Tuesday, and I don't want anyone beating two ways about it. Whatever system, whatever players, that side should have beaten Wigan. Let's make that crystal clear. That side should have had enough to go to Wigan and get 3 points when we're in a winning position as well. I know it's not. I know you have to earn the right, but like, it's a lack of responsibility. From the goals on Tuesday struck me as not taking responsibility from set pieces, which we were doing a few games earlier than that. So I'd love to know why the teams allowed that to happen. But again, I agree. I think we need to control games a lot better. And even if we're not going to be great going forward, we're at the time of the season where if you get the points, performances are definitely secondary, as much as I want good performances as well. I think Ledbetter, who's Ledbetter? Scowen and Winchester. That's probably going to have to be if we're going 4-3-3, for instance, that's probably going to have to be the midfield, because you're going to have O'Nien at centre half and Power at right back. So to answer the question, we need to start controlling games a lot more and start taking responsibility and stop conceding stupid goals.
Well, I think you said it there. If we go 4-3-3, but who knows what the formation is going to be. Just very quickly on the chat, got to give a shout out to my mate Tony Lee. Hi, how you doing? Bradley Young says Peterborough and Hull have got Charlton to play, so Charlton are in and around
and Lincoln as well.
They're not going to be easy games. Where we at? Joe the Artist again says teams started sussing out the McGeady-Wyke routine. So it's a possible answer for why the wheels have fell off. Yes, we rumor has it Dion Sanderson's out for the rest of the season, which is not good because he's literally been probably our best player. But let's get on to Chris Maguire. Then something's obviously up somewhere. I mean, I was led to believe initially that he wasn't fit, but then turns out that's has there been a spat? Does anybody know anything? Jacob, are you one in there?
Well, I think Maguire is one of those who's out of contract at the end of the season. So could there be a lack of motivation that Lee Johnson is sussing out But I don't see that in Chris Maguire. Every time I see him play, even when he comes off the bench, he doesn't have, like, particularly this season, he hasn't done it in times where we've needed him most. But I think that was mainly when Phil Parkinson was in charge. And to be honest, Parky's tactics with Chris Maguire on the pitch, I felt at the beginning of this season were awful. I think last season when he was part of a three up front, I think it worked better. But I think this, like, Maguire still can make a difference. I mean, look at that goal when he came on away at Crewe, on his chest and volleying it into the top corner to rescue us a point. He's got that in his locker, but it could be going back to an attitude problem behind the scenes. But then again, Phil Parkinson didn't drop him last season. He decided to drop Aidan McGeady instead. So, yeah, who knows? But when you've got a player who's out of contract at the end of the season, I think the manager will just purely focus a little bit more on those players who he sees have got a long-term future and have still got contracts under their belt. So it's understandable why he has not been starting, put it that way, and he's been frozen out. But have him in the squad at least, and not in the under-23s. He's too good for that.
See, I think I find it hard to believe that his work ethic will drop when he's going to play him for a new contract. I mean, anybody, who's out of contract, who's looking for whether it be another contract or another club, surely you'll play out of your skin. Terry, do you think something's going on behind the scenes?
I don't think he's naturally the fittest player anyway. Because even when he was starting, he was always getting substituted at about 60, 70 minutes anyway. So, but I think he's a massive impact player from the bench, and someone with his creativity and someone the ability to score goals that he can and just create score from a free kick the way he does. But I think obviously he's last in the pecking order. I mean, we all know Power's the captain. He won't drop Power. Scowen's his best friend. He won't drop Scowen. Ledbetter is the fans' favourite, so Ledbetter won't be dropped, and he deserves not to be dropped. And Winchester is being brought in by Lee Johnson, so he won't be he'll be thereabouts before Maguire. So Maguire's going right down the pecking order. Then we have Dan Neil, who I like to say sometimes we put on the bench and even give a start. Even this Dan, I don't know if he's injured. I don't know what's happened to Dan Neil, but injured or what. But for me, it's obviously, and if Maguire's not sort of getting a game or not sort of, it feels like it's not being given the opportunity above the players that obviously are closer to Lee Johnson. He might have said something, Lee Johnson. He might have said something. I don't know. We'd have to. It's going to be like we have to sort of imagine what's gone on. But I don't think Maguire will start another game this season. That's just my personal opinion. He might get onto the bench. He might. Depends how desperate Lee Johnson gets for me, because I think that I do see a little bit of stubbornness in Lee Johnson at times as well. I think all managers have that. Yeah.
I think that's a fairly bold statement to make, especially with the the injuries we have and stuff like that. It's but like I say, your opinion. Tom Wallace says, can Terry give us another wall chart presentation of the starting 11 for Saturday? Hashtag the writing's on the wall. He's got one ready. All right, for when we come to that.
Oh, here we go.
Well, he's getting it sorted for. Just hold it for when we do the Blackpool bit. Then, sorry, Michael, do you reckon there's been a fallout? So, I mean, I know it's all speculation, but
there has to.
Have you got a reason
there
why?
Has to be some. Yeah, there has to be some sort of fallout. There's got to be something going on. I think at first I did think Chris Maguire wasn't getting picked because he doesn't seem to be able to have the energy to last the way Sunderland want to play for a consistent amount of time, and Sunderland want to try and do a higher press. Although isn't it quite funny that when apparently, just from what people said, when we scored on Tuesday, for some reason we stopped doing the high press, which I don't know why if that's the case. But in general, we try to do a higher press. I don't know whether Maguire. It wouldn't actually surprise me. Maguire isn't in the fittest condition. Well, certainly wasn't in the fittest condition a while back. Anyway, and it's not. But to be fair, like Jacob said, though, as much as I don't think he's warranted starting at the moment, based on this season, I can't ignore the fact he can still be a game changer coming off the bench. He scored that great goal at Crewe, contender for our goal of the season to get a draw, and I'm sure I'm sure he assisted Wyke's winner against Swindon in the following game as well. I'm pretty sure it was from his set piece that Wyke headed it from. So I think if it's a personal spat between Johnson and Maguire, I think Johnson needs to get ready to swallow his pride a little bit and actually think, right, okay, he might not be able to start, but he's got to be on the bench, surely. For me, the reason that he keeps playing under 23s games is probably in case we do need him for the first team. But that also is a double-edged sword because it's like, well, does that mean that we haven't got any plans for him at the moment? And it's like, oh, well, injured, just in case we might need you, just no. Well, no, but that's what I mean. Like, is Lee Johnson's thinking, well, I don't really want you in the squad at the minute, but just in case we might need you, if I have to conclude you in the squad, get yourself some under 23 games, lad. Yeah, I mean, especially if it comes down to the playoffs, then Chris Maguire is surely someone that you probably want in the squad. I mean, granted, at Wembley in the Tranmere game, I didn't think he covered himself in glory there. But yeah, I thought he was, and that's one of my biggest frustrations with him, that he hasn't played to what we know his capability levels are. He was good in the first season. I mean, this is the thing though. I think Jack Ross managed Maguire quite well actually during parts of that season. For all I've given him criticism, one of the things Jack Ross did quite well was when he could sense Maguire was dipping below par in performances, drops him, brings him back in, and Maguire shows a reaction. Now he must have shown a bad reaction in training. I don't know if he's a good trainer. I don't know if he's someone who on the training pitch just doesn't cut it. And if that's the case, then I can understand maybe why Johnson is a bit more reluctant to include him. But either way, we're going to have to, put it this way: with the amount of injuries, the amount of players that are dropping like flies, don't be surprised to see Maguire come back into the fold. I do agree with Terry that I don't think he'll start a game in the rest of the season unless we get really desperate. But I could see him coming off the bench if need be.
Right, okay, I'll bring you in a sec there, Jacob. Yeah, but what you're saying about him not being a good trainer, there's been many players over the years where it's well documented that in training they just did nothing. But when it counted on the day,
but just out of interest, is there something Jack Ross and Phil Parkinson saw Maguire that Johnson doesn't? But neither of them dropped him from the squad.
I don't know. Go on, Jake. One then.
Yeah, I was building on what Michael was saying there about Chris Maguire when Jack Ross was in charge. You can, the Daleks, but in that playoff in Jack Ross's first bloody headphones he's on. In that semi-final against Pompey over 2 legs, I thought he was super. The manner he took that goal in the first leg, especially, but people will see in the final against Charlton he was poor, but you have to remember the system that Jack Ross started with in that final. For me, it was freezing Maguire out. And I know he went with the two systems, the same system in the Portsmouth 2 legs, but at the same time, I think that's Maguire credits where it's due for him to still play well in a really defensive system that he started with in those playoffs. I think just sums up that I think he's got just that extra little bit of passion as well. Even though he doesn't have the best of games, I think he wears his heart on his sleeve at times. I think I've always seen that in Chris Maguire, but quality-wise this season, he has dipped, and it's kind of like with Lyndon Gooch, it's too inconsistent at times, which is why Lee Johnson doesn't want him in the team, I feel, but also that things going on behind the scenes could have contributed to that. But yeah, will we see Chris Maguire for the rest of the season? I'd throw him straight in on Saturday to the squad at least, because I think we need big game changers now.
Right. Yeah, there's a lot of people on the chat saying he just hasn't done enough. Yeah, he might have, scored that goal at Crewe, but he's not created enough. He's not scored enough and stuff like that. But I'm inclined to agree with you, Jacob, that having him in the squad, he is that type of player who can come on and just do something as well. He can grab a goal and get a winner. Before I come on to Blackpool, I quickly want to put it out there that what we're trying to do, we're trying a little experiment here on SAFC Fan TV. We want a little sort of a fan group project. So if you're interested in doing something like that, it will involve you being on camera. The only stipulation is you must live in the Sunderland area. in Sunderland, if you like. And if you'd like to take part, we can give you more details. All you have to do is just contact us on our email address, which is SAFC Fan TV 73 at gmail.com. So if you do fancy joining us between now and the end of the season, where we're going to experiment with a couple of little ideas which could involve you. If you think you might be interested in that, just send us an email. We'll get back to you and give you details of what that is all about. Right then, Terry, I think we're going to start with you, because I'm sure the writing will be on the wall, or is it not ready yet?
We're getting there.
Well, I'll go to someone else if you want.
Yeah,
if you're not quite ready
first.
All right, okay, right. Well, we'll start with Michael then. Saturday, Blackpool away. Somebody did mention in the comments a little bit earlier, saying it's a shame we can't take 8,000 fans down to Blackpool. I mean, what a day that was. That was a fantastic day. That, Michael, are you absolutely certain that's it? It's nailed on, a Blackpool win. We haven't got a chance, and we're blown top two, because that's what you were saying before we came on air. But go on. When you're ready.
For Blackpool, right. This is the sort of game, funnily enough, where I wouldn't be shocked whatever the outcome is. I wouldn't be shocked if we lost. I wouldn't be shocked if it was a draw, and I wouldn't be that shocked if we won. It all depends. Again, I keep saying it every week, and I will continue to say it. It depends on Sunderland's application. It depends on what Sunderland turns up. It depends how much heart and desire we show into the game. It depends how much we really want to win the game. And if we want to have any faint hope of top two, we have to win. Especially one way or the other, whatever happens in the Peterborough game. But also remember, even if we don't get into the top two, we've got to make sure that, because third's not guaranteed, we need to make sure, because Blackpool are on our tails, so we need to make sure that we at least avoid defeat against them if we want to finish above them. But at the same time, these next 6 games could be vital, in the sense that even if we don't get into the top two, we need to get some good form going ahead of the playoffs. We don't want to be going into it on the back of a lackluster run of form, and if so, we're picking the worst time of the season to do it. For this game, I was going back and forth in my head what the score would be. But I really could. Oh, I think Terry must have finished. But I don't know. I do think people need to remember that Blackpool aren't the invincible team that a lot of people are making them out to be. Again, like I said earlier, they almost lost against Accrington, and they needed a keeper to save a penalty to get a draw on Tuesday, and they were 2-0 up at Lincoln and chucked away a 2-0 lead. What's that going to do to their confidence? So this is something that we really... There it is.
The writing is on the wall.
Yeah.
Sorry, Michael. Go on.
Okay. Oh, fine. I'm going to be the Mr. Doom and Gloom prediction and not attempt reverse psychology. 2-1 Blackpool. If you want me prediction, there it is straight away.
2-1.
I wouldn't be shocked. By the way, I'll put this on. I'll put this on camera right now. I wouldn't be shocked if we won, though.
Oh, you cannot do that both ways. Say 2-1 Blackpool,
yes,
and then
I
did say I wouldn't be shocked. Right. Before we go to Terry, very quickly, I want to say a massive thank you to Marianne Carlo in Boston, Massachusetts. I think that's how you pronounce it.
You said it right.
$3 with a super sticker. Round of applause for Marianne over in the States using the super chat. Don't forget that is available to you. It will help support the channel. But do remember, it's optional and it's still free to use the chat. Just before I go to you, Terry, Jeff Allcroft on the chat says, Philly, you said I couldn't see us losing another game. I did say that because I couldn't see us losing a game. But we did. But I also said up by Easter. I also said top by Easter. Basically, I know nothing. All right. Terry, the writing is on the wall. Take us through it.
Well, 4-3-3, as you know. Now, in an ideal world, Denver Hume would be match fit. But unfortunately, I don't think he's ready yet. So McFadden had a good game against Charlton, so I don't know why he was dropped in the first place. So I'd have kept McFadden there for the time being until Denby Hume is ready to start a match. Now, if McLaughlin was fit, I'd have McLaughlin where Power is, and I'd put Power where Scowen is, and I'd drop Scowen to the bench. But unfortunately, McLaughlin probably won't start on Saturday. So Power is right back, Bailey right, Lugo 9 Birds, Ledbetter, the holding midfielder. We need to keep clean sheets, simple as. The tenacity of Ledbetter will help out the centre-backs and hopefully keep a clean sheet. Winchester's score need to get forward, box-to-box players, plenty of energy. I want to see more running from Winchester. We all know Scone can run, but I want to see some bloody good passion from Scone for a change. I want Winchester box-to-box, Ledbetter doing the holding, and McGeady on the left-hand side, getting them balls to White. Jones getting the balls to White. Both of them cutting inside towards the penalty box, both having shots. If we do that, and we keep a clean sheet, we might sneak a 1-0 win. I did predict a 1-1 draw in my prediction video when my head was in the shed, but now my head's here and not in the shed. I'm going to go for a 1-0 away victory to Sunderland, but only if Lee Johnson's watching me right now.
Oh,
can I just point out, you know what that reminds me of? It reminds me of Sunderland Till I Die. Their first season when Simon Grayson had his little clipboard and he was addressing the Sunderland players. Terry doing that reminds us of that. And
I'm only playing Scowen because there's nobody else. There's literally nobody else. That's the only reason I'm playing him.
Right. Well,
why don't you play Power? No, hang on, not Power. Play Scowen a bit further deeper, and then play him and Winchester, and then put Maguire in front of them. Sorted. If
I knew Dan Neil was ready and Dan Neil was fit and he was on the subs bench, I'd play Dan Neil there. But I don't know where he is. So I'm just playing the players I know that are there and ready.
Well, very quickly.
Can we not play Elliot Embleton for these 2 Blackpool games and then have him play for them for the rest of the other games?
You done, Michael.
Chris Scott on the chat says thought Terry wouldn't play Scowen. Well, he's got tenacity, hasn't he? Apparently,
tenacity.
And Terry, you're saying a 4-3-3, but there's no guarantee that it's going to be a 4-3-3, is there? You know, I mean,
that's why Lee Johnson's having 5-minute break and watching this.
Well, hopefully. Somebody on the chat back there said as well, Terry, you need some Bluetooths, apparently.
Why?
Because of all the noise your headphones makes.
Here's part of my headphones here. There's part of my headphone.
Oh, God.
And there's another part of my headphone. What? And the headphones are fell to bits. I don't know why.
Terry is looking up his name. They're
not made very strong, these headphones.
Get that padding in your underpants.
No, they're going down here, so I'll keep me light in the right place.
Right, all right. Well, I was going to... I thought I'm safe doing my prediction last because I did watch Terry's Head in the Shed vlog, which if you've not seen it yet, that's on the Mad Mistakes channel. And I saw that his prediction was 1-1. And I thought, great, because he always nicks my score prediction. So I thought, fine, I can go last, of course. And now he's changed it to 1-0, which is what I predicted, a 1-0 Sunderland win. So is that what you're going with a 1-0 now, are you, Terry? Is that what you're saying?
I have to now that I've created this.
Okay, right, fair enough. You'll have to do a new video then.
I'm feeling in a better mood now anyway.
Yeah. Right then, Jacob, Saturday's game, away to Blackpool. Come on, we can win this, can't we?
Of course we can, but we need to go back to basics. I think considering the way how we've been defending recently, and we need to be more tenacious, I feel, in the final third, particularly if we go a goal up, because it will be far from over. It's about how we respond after that. I mean, take Tuesday, for example. But I think it will be a tight game, but a 1-0 Sunderland win, I think we'll just about do it.
So you're going 1-0 as well. Let me stick that down there. So 3 1-0s, and Michael Bowers is the new Doominator, seeing as Dino. By the way, Dino is at work. He's had to go down to Coventry, where no one will speak to him. And And also, Jack's been refereeing. Of course, we all know Jack is an amateur referee and a very good one at that as well. Just very quickly, 138 people watching the live stream, 74 likes. We would like to try and get to 100 by the end of the stream. So if you just want to hit the thumbs up, it'll take you a second to do so. And if you're on a mobile device and your live chat is open, just close that. You'll see the thumbs up. And don't forget, we are on our way to 6,000 subscribers. So we'd appreciate it if you haven't subscribed yet to do so. It is free. Just hit the subscribe button and help us out like that. Right then, what I want to do then, we've got 5 minutes left. Our running to the end of the season now. Then we've got Blackpool away on Saturday. Then we've got Hull away. Then on the Tuesday we've got Accrington at home.
Saturday, isn't it?
Saturday, sorry. The following Tuesday is Blackpool at home. And then we've got Plymouth away. And the last game of the season is Northampton at home. So basically, I'd like a win, lose, or draw prediction on our last 6 games that we've got. And bearing in mind...
Well, you've already done one of them, so there's one.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but Blackpool goes down as a win to us because you're outnumbered, Bowers. So we're going to put...
fine, okay, that's fine. Then do your last 5 then.
We're going to put Blackpool down as a win, right? So, Jacob, Hull City away Tuesday night. On paper, we should get battered, but of course, it's the Sunderland way. What do you think to that?
I think we'll win that one. I'm going to go.
I love that.
Yeah, I think it'll be a typical because they're favourites, top of the league. It's what we do. Create a shock. I think we'll win that one.
I'll tell you what. I'm not normally a fan of Arsenal fans, but you are my favourite Arsenal fan, saying things like that.
Here we go. It's returned.
Not me earphones.
Terry, what do you think to Hull? Come on!
God,
Come on!
Put me on the spot now, haven't you? I can't see what I said before the bloody video started, can I? Right, we'll go okay, flipping hell. If we beat Blackpool 1-0, we'll beat Hull 1-0.
Oh, that's two. That's 2 for a win. Right then, obviously, go on, Michael, we'll see what you say. Hull away, it's winnable. Come on, of course it is. A win! All right, and that's a full house because I'm going for a win. Of course I'm going for a win.
I don't know what it is. But I think we'll beat Hull.
It's one of them things where we can beat Blackpool on Saturday, we can beat Hull on Tuesday, and then we'll lose to Northampton last game of the season when we need it for the top 2. That is the Sunderland way.
Face.
Right. All right then. Quickly, let's go through this quickly because we're running out of time. Accrington, Jacob, win, lose, or draw.
A scrappy win, just about over the line. Yeah.
That'll do. Terry, win, lose, or draw, Accrington.
Win.
See, you're all... and Michael, what are you going for?
Win.
A win. All right, so that's... See, so all of a sudden, this doom and gloom, we're now going to make the top 2.
No, wait till you hear my final 3. Things will change.
All right, here we go then. All right then.
This is where it did.
Oh, God,
right.
Here we go.
Right, Blackpool at home.
Well, we always screw up in our games in hand, so draw.
A draw. Right, Terry, Blackpool at home. Come on, Terry. Come on.
Oh man. Pressure. Okay, another win then.
Yes.
Just say win.
What do you reckon?
Draw.
Oh, and I've got a win. Oh.
A late equaliser.
Right, we're going to have to... Right, Terry, get something in your hand. We'll have to pick the hands for this, for whether it's a win or a draw.
Right, Jacob.
Left.
This one.
Yeah.
Go on then.
You're left.
No, right, all right, you got it wrong. So that's a win for us then. That's a win. Right, Plymouth. Jacob, Plymouth.
Defeat.
Oh, what? Shut up, man.
Yeah.
Plymouth.
It's what they've already beaten us this season.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, man. Right. Terry, Plymouth, come on.
Win.
Green Army, good lad. Michael, come on. It's Plymouth, man.
Can I just point out, Portsmouth had beaten us in the first game against us this season, and we won the second, so win.
A win. And that's a win
What's that
for
got
me.
to do with pumping?
Right, so
My point is just because they've beaten us once doesn't mean they'll do it again.
Oh,
right, so we've got 5 wins, right? And we're down the last game of the season, right? And we need, if we win at home to Northampton, we finish in the top 2. That's how we are. That's where we're at. So, Jacob, right, in true Sunderland fashion, do we win, lose, or draw?
If you don't say win, seriously, then what's the point?
Yeah, we'll win. It'll be over by then. It'll be played in the manner of a friendly. Just be a training session. Walk in the park.
Oh, we'll already be
Because we'll already be second.
Fair enough.
Nah,
All right.
It'll be done by then.
So is that a win, did you say?
Yeah.
All right, go on. Terry, Northampton.
They'll get beat.
Right, go on then. Right. Michael?
No, Northampton will get beat.
Oh, Northampton will get beat.
Yeah.
I thought you meant the other way around.
Right, go on then.
So
Michael. Go on then.
Yes, we'll win.
We'll win. That's 2 wins, 3 wins. Right. Well, I think in true Sunderland fashion, I think they'll get beat. Again, like Terry said, Northampton. So there you go. So all this doom and gloom about, we've blown it, we cannot finish top 2. And we've all predicted that we're going to win the next 6 games.
Get Peterborough's fixtures up and get Hull's up.
But I haven't got time for all that. You're the stato. That's your job for next time. You'll have all them ready. So that's what we say. We're going to win the next 6 games. But as I've said already to Jeff Holcroft on the chat, don't listen to me because I know absolutely nothing. But look, it's been good.
Say
It's
we're going
been
to
a
get beat every 6 games then.
We'll be all right, man. Look, thanks for joining us. We got 81 likes. So if we got another 19 people, just hit the thumbs up out of the people watching now. That would get us to 100. And we'd be very much appreciated. Just before we go, don't forget, we are looking for Sunderland fans who live in Sunderland to come and join us on our little project between now and the end of the season. It will involve you being on camera. So if you fancy doing that, just drop us an email to SAFC Fan TV 73 at gmail.com and we'll reply to you. We'll give you all the details. And then if you're still interested, you could be a star of the show. So just watch out for that, please. So from myself, wee Philly, from Michael Bowers, give us a wave, from Jacob Kirkbride, down south, from the Mad Mistake. It just about wraps it up. We will be back on Saturday for a live stream, as will Terry on the Mad Mistake channel. Jacob, you are trying to get in there as quick as you can.
Yeah, I want to end the show by showing my commiserations. Obviously, yesterday was the 32nd anniversary of the tragic Hillsborough disaster that took place in 1989. Justice to the 96 fans who died that day.
Well said.
All right. Well said, Jacob. And just very quickly before we do go, a massive thank you to people who contributed via the supers: Hugo, Taffy Mackham, Anthony Baxter, and Marianne Carlo. Round of applause to you. Thanks for that. Don't forget, we'll be back Saturday. We shall see you all then. Thanks for tuning in. Goodbye.